Hey everyone, RemanX here with a very, very important news bulletin. Now that we know that Pym Tech is your unlock for the legendary Jubilee, please don't throw tomatoes or fruit at me. I think she's going to be good. Don't downvote, please. We're going to talk about how to use them on war, and we're going to talk about how to counter them if you start seeing them, and we're going to talk about all the things that make them go boom. All right, let's get right into it. So, as you can see, I've got a pretty small Pym Tech team here, and we're going to go into details because I think most importantly, we're going to start seeing larger ghosts on people's roster. So it's something you're going to need to take into consideration when you're trying to beat the team, but more importantly, as you're building your team. So I have my recommended ISOs on it, and I think it's really, really good because of the fact that you get the assists and the triple taps. Are pretty devastating. I've seen some people put Raider on Yellow Jacket. I don't hate it, but I think Wasp tends to be the better option there. Let's get right into it. So obviously, we all know that Ghost is a superhero. Despite her villain tag, she's carrying a lot of people into the depths of the dark dimension and getting them doomed. What that means is she is absolutely fundamentally good there. Whether or not you need her there all depends on your path, and we'll talk about that in a whole nother video. You guys know what I'm talking about. But for that purpose alone, we've seen a lot of people start upgrading her, and we've seen quite a few G15. I expect that it'll be trickling down from the Krakens and the whales. You will start seeing that more and more in your wars. So as such, people will be building up this team for the legendary event to get the unlock and trying to figure out what to do with them. And so on war defense, with some significant investment in T4s, I don't want to say this out loud, but Supernatural will struggle to beat them. What? Are you kidding with me? Supernatural? But Rem, you said they'd win. Well, we're starting to see what happens when a fully leveled team takes the field. And I bet you that most of you guys don't have Supernatural that looks like this. I've heavily invested in my Supernatural squad and had some little Red Star luck to go along with it. But this is the reason why I'm making this warning. Today in a war, I fought a punch down of a Supernatural team, and I almost lost against the Pym Tech team. And the main reason is Ghost is a beast, and the team is full of RNG. And that type of RNG reminds me a lot of what happens with the Merc counter, where things can shift on a dime and quickly get out of control. So we're going to talk about a surefire way to make sure they don't become annoying. And the main thing we're going to talk about is why they're good on defense, what this means for you when you're thinking about as an alliance and as a player setting your defense. So we're going to talk about what their real counter is, the reliable counter. Now remember, you may beat on a regular basis Supernatural. The problem I'm going to tell you is when you start seeing larger ghosts. That large ghost can easily rip apart your team as you're picking off members. More importantly, Doctor Strange goes down early and there is a ton of early burst damage. A simply blocked, blind, or slow, and you're going to find yourself behind the 8 ball trying to recover. And unlike against other teams, they actually have a hard time recovering against Pym Tech because of Ghost's power. So let's get into it. So first things first, we're going to showcase my Pym Tech one more time. And like I said, Ghost is probably the featured character on the team. Now, I haven't built up her basic and her special yet. And I remember I've already done the first 2 sections of Dark Dimension 4. She was a superhero. I still kind of recommend her if you want to get through there at a reasonable point in time, but she isn't essential because you're still waiting a long time for gear to show up. So even if you were to one-shot every node, you're probably going to be waiting weeks before you get into the next level. thanks to the bottlenecks. Okay, so stature, we did her Pym Particle Punch and Standing Tall. We have her as a skirmisher because all of her abilities interact, and it lets you kind of pick and choose which characters you have that are marked. Okay, and so it's important on offense and on defense. It basically means that if somehow the AI gets targeted and different targets, it'll shift, and then she'll get the double tap and really throw a wrench in the team synergy there. So Wasp, the most of her stuff only works in Dark Dimension, so I didn't do it. I probably could justify some of the investment on him, but it's just not. For me, it's not worthwhile. At 10%, while offense up, could be the difference between killing somebody outright early on, and he's actually pretty powerful. And Ant-Man over here, we do have some additional options here, but when they're both present, I don't think you necessarily need the passive here. So something that it still wins with. Again, you could always spend a little more T4s, but I do think that the extra and more importantly, like I said, this is the extra focus you might need to land debuffs, especially when things go down, like the your barracks, and more importantly, the ability generation, which is just insane how quickly their transitions happen when she's alive. So, getting right into it, your best counter for them is, and most reliable, where it's probably near 100% win rate, and you can probably punch up, oh geez, I would probably say 10 to 20%. I'll get some numbers. I mean, let me know how you work out. But the problem with this is you're gonna have to look at your counters and figure out what you're using. And this is the reliable team, is your Brotherhood 2.0. And so from that perspective, the blind, because it's unavoidable, all these things are important. Being able to disrupt if certain things get disrupted here. And that's the big difference, is there's quite a few reasons why this team excels. Heal block when they get to 50%. So it prevents them from basically doing what they do best. So very, 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 very reliable counter. The most reliable in my opinion. But the problem is you guys probably already have teams out there that you're using BH 2.0 on. So the question is, do you level up your supernatural, maybe even get that Elsa passive, maybe even, worry about how high a level she is to be able to counter these enormous ghosts? And what I'm telling you is, if you're going to use supernatural, you need to measure your team against the enemy ghost. Don't punch up based on the total power of the team or punch down. Don't evaluate it that way. You need to evaluate the team solely on the size of the ghost, because she is the piece of the puzzle that's the most reliable. Because if you can kill her early, it's not a problem. But if you don't, she's going to extend that match, and it's going to make it a lot more of an RNG fest. So my recommendation here is obviously BH 2.0, and that's going to be a problem, right? So what I'll tell you is a little known secret about war. When you're building your war defense, you should think about what your opponent is going to counter your defense with, and build a defense that'll draw out reliable counters, so that when they face more of the same defense, it becomes less reliable. Now, I'm not saying you have to invest a lot in a team per se. You need to make an investment level comparative to your war bracket, whether you're in, gold 4 and platinum 1, I'm going to lump them together, or platinum, 2 and higher. It's different than if you're in gold 3 and lower. So we're just showcasing this because I am promising you guys are going to see a lot of Pymtech take the field with a surprising level of evaluation, and they are surprisingly annoying on war defense. And I'll probably go into another video that showcased them on war offense, some of the themes they can beat reliably, and we'll do that later on. I'll probably be able to take that against some larger teams down the road here. But for now, I'm content with putting them on my defense and hoping that my opponent is forced to use BH 2.0 and then not have a solution for my other two defenses, which have the highest win rate for BH 2.0. So, little thought in that, little ideas here and there. Hopefully we get you guys a few more wins. Remember, I do things so you don't have to. I hope you guys are ready for the Axemen, Astonishing X-Men, trademark pending. And I wish you luck in war. Let me know how you guys are doing against Supernatural and Pym Tech. I have a feeling right now, without the investment that you're seeing on defense, you guys may have a decent win ratio, but I'd be surprised unless you have Elsa at high levels that you're actually winning frequently as we start to see the larger ghosts out there. Anyway, guys, love you much. I will catch you guys soon, and good luck with the Legendary Unlock.